Surprise, surprise. We have a late IHP show with a lovely 5D mystic here. Now, it's funny because I had started one, but it was with the accompaniment of tobacco and alcohol. And I went and looked at those guidelines before posting it, and both TikTok and YouTube don't allow it. So I had to scratch it. I did save it. It was really cute and it was really good, but it's okay. We'll do it over again and in a way that can be posted, since the messages that wanted to come through for my 5D mystics who can see the bigger picture. 11 is that lovely number. You can also easily navigate this and that because 5D mystics have that inner child up front with our lovely unconditional love. And so easily body-mind connection, and therefore our oversoul keeps expanding, not the opposite. We know how to take time out and do spirituality growth without disconnecting because of, like Brother Bear, kind of that story, big heart, without all the drama stuff that, movies seem to have that hero's journey for the people who need a hero's journey. So unless we just know that being human is awesome and we're all heroes in our own way because we sing our song with our lovely crowns and 3 change. So we get to sing our song, and with solar plexus, we feel very confident to share our quirkiness. And on that note, quirkiness actually is quirkiness, right? That's why I really would have liked to post the video with the cigar and the drinking. It was a little bit of Amaro, but again, I get it. They're trying to promote healthy lifestyle choices. What's nice about 5D plane is that moderation, because equanimity is the 5D plane. So we don't get into charged states and divide ourselves into the whole good and bad spectrum. We understand intuitively duality and know that we partake in duality. And with our clairs, we don't get confused. So when you're learning about your own intuitiveness, if you're in the plane of 5D, you automatically have a feeling of knowing the different time we're in. You don't compare yourself to the witches of the past or the sorcerers or source, you know what I'm saying. Tongue twister. And on that note, when we hear people talking about our oversoul with words such as energy vampire, or sometimes they'll read energy with sirens or mermaids, is one of the recent ones I heard, and they describe the differences, which would be sirens take, mermaids don't. They, what was it that they said? Embellish or bring richness. And at the end of the day, again, the plane of duality is experienced very equanimously by a person who is whole, because you have your emotional body in the forefront. So your inner child doesn't need to be given thumbs up or thumbs down, meaning that you're indifferent from the perspective of your emotional body doesn't regulate because your peer group or your family group or society disagrees with you. So you don't take it to heart in a way of, I'm heartbroken. You're processing easily emotions that arise. And I said easily. There's no struggle. Same thing with 5D mystics. Don't talk about the dark night of the soul or ego death in the same way. Meaning, we'll know those terms. I remember learning fireworks, those terms, and noticing when I was going through expansion. So I said, but my ego isn't dying. I'm still the same person. I'm just learning how to be more mature, more emotional, more equanimous, and more present. So the richness is what grows. In fact, if you learn anything with good neuroscience professionals, they'll explain to you how those who channel, they've studied, like, I think it's shamans in different cultures and deities or texts, and I'm not really sure exactly which people or how, but all the videos that I've seen so far, they're able to describe how the brain, our lovely brain here, works when we're channeling and when we are in the flow. Okay, so selflessness, timelessness, effortlessness, and richness. And on that note, when you come into your clairs, you will get very excited, giggly excited, like a 3-year-old. But I didn't remember being a 3-year-old until I got my hypnotherapy session and I was able to experience my most happy childhood memory, and it was without words, just the sensations, and it was all giggling. In fact, I started giggling immediately as I entered into the memory. And on that note, while 4D has decided to consolidate the plane of duality, so they're separating themselves into categories, for us it's different because we understand attachment, trauma. And so when we're with our loved ones, no person takes our energy, because an open heart is a heart that is always engaged in that lovely social engagement system. With or without yoga, you practice unconditional love because it's easy for you to have self-compassion and compassion for the external. And this is one of the reasons why we'll twist our noses when people go on to talk about canceling and losing people and losing friends. It's almost like saying, so you're basically going to abandon ship because a relationship gets a bit emotional. The sensitive ego, the inner child that does not have their own adult as their own person, and this is why it's important to learn about childhood trauma and or about emotional neglect and or about attachment wounds, because a person will be able to become aware of what they're projecting when they're in interactions. Since trauma is relational and intimacy is at the core, the first intimate relationship is here. But they can only, any person, become an emotional adult as they interact with securely attached people. 5D mystics, the Zen masters, it's because of not needing to be told how to unconditionally love, you're automatically going to be inclined to be here. As the short that I shared about 5D, one sure sign is that you do not feel this need to cancel or to keep a track record of what you do for your friends, what your friends do for you, because your attachment system is not longing to be seen, to be soothed, to feel safe and then secure, to be yourself. No, you're a freely selfless or selfish. Some people can say selfish when you don't do things they want you to do for them. That doesn't mean that you've been selfish, but acknowledging our loved ones. And so coming into dialogue, heart to heart, about those types of interactions is something that any person who's an adult emotionally will do versus project. The adoptive children go into conversation not to repair, but to prove points. And the people who are not aware of themselves, and here's where if we want to do sirens or mermaids or energy vampires or dark auras, these are not people that are trying or can actually siphon any energy from a 5D mystic, not because we need protection or we have protection. When I hear about 4D readers, they'll say you're protected by guides and source and the infinite, and they go on and on and on about it, as well as you're protected with, the angels near you, and it's great. The plane of angels, the plane of being able to tap into those energies. I've seen myself through Reiki sessions and just in different moments where I'm downloading or channeling the lovely angels. I have not seen close up anything that is scary, but then again, I don't personally believe in evil. And when I've seen that lovely, not so lovely, but The Scale of Evil by Michael Stone, it's all people that can use a good therapist. So on that note, for 5D mystics, expanding our oversoul is straightforward, because when we meet people who need extra support for their emotional plane, we know, one, of there being good therapists, two, how to directly communicate with love and respect and maintain those healthy communication boundaries in a way that understands, though people can only learn by interacting with each other with a civil engagement and somebody who can understand, you're human, I'm a human, so we both have humanity. It comes to how well do we know ourselves from the depths of our core. So tune in for more.